Hello, in today's video we will be trying new Ayaka teams. We would make two teams, one with crowd control, second one with Shenhe. And we will compare the damage to the standard Ayaka teams. Is Furina an upgrade for Ayaka? Let's find out. Ayaka, one of the most strongest cryo character in the entire game. And on her release she was good. She was exceptionally good. She was shredding through Spiral Abyss and dominating all Spiral Abyss speedruns. But all that power comes with the cost, because Ayaka is one of the most spoiled characters in the game. If you want to build her perfect team, you would need to get all the team with 5-star support. First of all, you would need to get Hydra character that doesn't rely on normal attacks. Second, you would need to get Anima character with really good crowd control. And last thing, Ayaka, the only character in the game that has her dedicated support as the 5-star. But if you get her signature team, she will reward you with exceptionally good damage. Yes, we can go some budget variants, something like this or this, but I want to be honest, these teams are barely working. And what changed to Ayaka teams right now? We've got Furina in the game, and she can apply Hydro without relying on normal attacks. And that's exactly what we needed. And why this is important? To answer this question, let's look at Hydra support that Ayaka needed, because I think they're most important to make her work. Let's start with Mona. The problem with Mona, she is the standard character, and you cannot guarantee that you will get her. And even if you're playing this game for a long time, there is a chance that you still doesn't have Mona. The second character is Kokomi. She is good on what she's doing, but the main problem with her, teams where you can use her are very limited. You need to be dedicated Nilo or Ayaka main to get most value from her. Why I'm saying that Furina can be the answer. She is the 5-star like a previous two and can be hard to get. But there is a higher chance that you will have Furina or will pull for her. First of all, she is the former Archon and people willing to pull for Archons more frequently. Second, she is a very good universal support. And even if we combine teams where Mona and Kokomi can be used, this wouldn't cover all the teams where Furina can be used. So she would be better investment on your account than the previous two characters. So if you're struggling to build Ayaka's team, Furina may be your answer. But how strong is Furina's Ayaka team? And can this team compete with the standard Ayaka's teams? Today we will test it. Ayaka's build. Let's quickly look at our Ayaka's build, and this topic will be a little bit controversial. Let's start with crit ratio. We have 45% crit rate, and with Blizzard, Stare and Cryo Resonance combined, we have 100% chance in the end, which is pretty good. And we have 244 crit damage, and this number is pretty high. But 3 out of my 5 artifacts are quite bad. And how do we achieve this number? It's because my Ayaka using her signature weapon, Mist-Splitter with 44 crit damage, and Ayaka's Assassin stat is crit damage too. So from artifacts alone we are getting only 112 crit damage. And I have one problem with my Ayaka artifacts. Ayaka is a 5-star character and I am using 5-star weapon with very high base attack. But my attack is not even reaching 2000, even with attack percentage sense. And that's because my artifacts are missing attack percentage substats on them. And not reaching 2000 attack with 116 base attack is kinda bad thing. And now about good thing about my Ayaka's build. Ayaka's burst is quite energy hungry, and I've managed to get 130 energy recharge through artifact substat. And in teams where I'm using Ayaka, this is covering all my energy needs. So in the end my build is very decent, but it still has room to improvement. Why I was explaining all of this? Because I want to show you how to balance your characters. First thing, you need to solve characters' energy problems. And when you're starting to build damage, don't forget about base stats. Don't be obsessed with the crit rate and crit damage only. And now let's go for the other stats. My Ayaka is Constellation 0 with talents 9, 9 and 10. And this Ayaka we will be using for entire video today. Crowd control team. The problem using Ayaka with Furina, you can either have crowd control in the team or you can use Shenhe in the team, but you cannot use both, and that's very unfortunate. First we'll start with the crowd control team, because I think overall this team would be better. Let's see what all these characters are offering to us. Let's start with Furina. My Furina is C2 and she will give us 100% damage increase. For the weapon she is using Pipe Sword and artifacts full golden troop set. Charlotte is a healer here. With Furina we forced to use healers, and Charlotte very good at this role. For the weapon she's using Favonius Codex to help our team with energy management, artifacts, full Noblesse Oblige set. And Charlotte is our Cryo Resonance Activator for 15% crit rate. Now for the Kazuha. My Kazuha has 940 Elemental Mastery, and this will give us 37 NE6 Elemental damage bonus. For the weapon she is using Cyphers, and this will give us 15% energy recharge to whole team, and artifacts, of course, Viridicent Finger for cryo resistance decrease. And if we look at all buffs of this team, we have very small attack percentage buff, but we have 137 damage percentage buff. And that's why I was saying attack could be very important for Ayaka. And let's see and the damage and rotation. Starting with Furina's skill, Furina's burst, Charlotte's skill, burst, Kazuha's skill, going to Ayaka, sprint, normal attack into the burst, and we are doing 30,000 per burst tick. 30,000 per burst tick. This will be our measuring tool because it's our main source of damage. Let's remember this number and let's go further. And now we are moving for the competitor team, and we will be using team with Kazuha, Layla and Mona. And why we're losing Layla instead of Shenhe? Because if we go with Shenhe, Furina team doesn't have any chance. So I want to compare Furina's team against more accessible variant. And let's see what buff this team has. Let's start with the Mona. Mona using Thrilling Test for 40 HP attack buff, artifacts full Noblesse for 20% attack buff, and with talent level 9 she will increase our damage up to 58%. And in this team Layla covering defensive role with her shield. For the weapon she's using Favonius for better energy management, and artifacts full Tenacity for another 20% attack buff. And we're using the same Kazuha with 37 elemental damage bonus. So in total this team has 95% all damage bonus, but way more attack buff, 88%. And let's see on this team rotation and damage. Starting with Layla's skill, Layla's burst, Kazuha to sphere, Mona's skill, Mona's burst, Ayaka dash, normal attack, Ayaka's burst, and we're doing 35. Going to Kazuha again, and in the end we was doing 28,000. So our starting damage was 5,000 more, but in the end we was doing 2,000 less than Furina's team. It's because Mona's debuff is run out. But there is one thing about her burst. If we're fighting freezable enemy, Mona's debuff will run for entire freeze duration. So we would not have damage drop in the middle of our rotation. And actually this team comes very close. But let's remember that my Furina is C2. At C0 she will buff less and she will have less personal damage, and because of this I would say that standard Mona Ayaka Freeze team is still better. But let's test Furina's team against Spiral Abyss level threat, and we'll go against most annoying chamber in the current Spiral Abyss with 2 Pyro Heralds. So, elemental burst damage, nice. So we're starting with applying Cryo, then Kazuha grouping, then Furina's skill, Furina's burst, then trying to dodge and missing, so Charlotte, Kazuha, big samurais want to show their big swords, but size doesn't matter, it's mostly how you use them, and we are almost done with the first wave. Annoying thing, somehow he dodged our crowd control, but let's go for the Pyrolectors. Let's group them. So starting rotation with Furina, Charlotte taking female photo, Kazuha making group party, Ayaka's burst, and they are done. And there is a problem, we need to unfreeze them, because if they are frozen, they are not making their shield. So the shield is done, and right now Ayaka is not so usable. So right now we need to rely on Furina. Let's summon gems. Alright, let's destroy the gems. Alright, Kazuha's burst. Let's heal. Alright, Cryo is not good in destroying Cryo shields, but this does matter. One of them is done. No, it's not done. So let's use Kazuha to finish him. Alright, we're going pretty fast, I would say. So let's finish the last one, and we're done with pretty nice time. Boss Killer Team. Ayaka is very rarely placed without crowd control, because her burst has very small radius. But right now with Parallel Beast we have full boss rush run in the second half. And even though bosses are not freezable and Ayaka loses a lot of potential fighting against them, she still can be boss killer. And against bosses you just don't need crowd control, so that's why we will test this team. And let's see what buffs we have here. Starting with Shenhe, and she gives a lot. Right now our Shenhe have 3095 attack, and with talent level 9 she will give us 2401 flat attack bonus. On top of that we have 13% cryo resistance decrease, 15% cryo damage bonus, and 15% elemental burst damage bonus. With Favonius line she would help us with energy, and for artifacts I'm using double attack percentage. And she is cryo resonance activator. So yes, on paper Shenhe is a really good buffer. Now let's move to Jin. And unfortunately Jin doesn't give a lot. She is mostly in this team because of the healing and very decent Veneer elemental resistance decrease. And for the weapon she is using Aminoma. And we're using the same Furina like we used in previous teams. And because elemental bonus damage, burst bonus damage and damage percentage is the same multiplier, we're having 130% damage multiplier for Ayaka's burst. And one unfortunate thing, we are missing any attack percentage buff in this team. Let's see at the damage and rotation. Starting with Furina's skill, Furina's burst, Shenhe's skill, Shenhe's burst, Jin's skill, Jin's burst, going to Ayaka dash normal attack, burst, then skill we're doing 45,000. We was doing 45,000 when Shenhe buffs was running. Yes, we don't have Shenhe's buff all the time, but we'll measure our damage when Shenhe's buff is running. Now let's move to competitor team. And in this team we're using the same character that we used before, with one exception. In this team Mona using prototype Ember, and she will cover healer role in this team. Yes, I can make comparison with Thrilling Tales, and Furina's team doesn't have any chance, but because Furina's team has a healer, I want to have healer in this team too. And you know what? We have almost the same damage percentage multiplier in this team. If we combine Kazuha, Shenhe and Mona's damage percentage buffs, we will have 126 damage percentage. And this team actually has attack percentage buff. Mona is giving 20% attack buff with Noblesse Oblige. And let's add the damage. So starting with Shenhe's skill, Shenhe's burst, Kazuha's Swirling Cryo, Mona's skill, Mona's burst, going to Ayaka dash normal, and burst 49 with Shenhe's buff. Yes, in the end the damage is fall off, but we was doing 49,000 with Shenhe's buff. But why difference is that high? Because Mona is using Noblesse Oblige, and Noblesse Oblige is all team buff. And even though we're using Shenhe before Mona, she still receives the buff. And because of this we're getting even more flat damage bonus increase. So what we have here? In Mona team we achieved higher number in damage, but in Furina team we had more consistency and less damage drops. But the simple fact that Mona's team still has crowd control, and because of this team has more versatility, I would say standard variant of Ayaka's team is still better than Furina's one. And let's give boss killer team real boss to kill. I want to go against Giant Narrator because Ayaka is one of the characters that can prevent him from going invisible. And if your Ayaka has very good investment, you can basically just one cycle him. And let's see how this works. So starting with Furina, then Shenhe, Swirling Cryo, going to Ayaka one normal attack, burst, and we just immediately destroying spinners. He doesn't activate his going invisible animation, and because of this he cannot go invisible right now. We've done a lot of damage to him, but can we finish him? Can we finish him? Unfortunately, I cannot go for the second rotation because everything is cooldown, and unfortunately my Ayaka doesn't have enough damage. So let's heal. So we anyways need to destroy his spinners. If I had C1 Shenhe, I think we would finish him, but I hope you understand the base idea how we fight this boss. So please come back, don't be the coward. And let's somehow beat him. I don't want to spend energy, so let's just use normal and charge attacks. And he is going down with pretty nice time anyways. Conclusion. Alright, I would say this is one of the scenarios when I would say don't over rely on the spreadsheets, because Ayaka's standard team was drawing higher numbers, but one of the problems in Ayaka's team is maintaining the buff through rotation, and that's why her damage fluctuates so hard. Furina's team was doing less damage, but damage was more consistent. So I wouldn't say that Ayaka Furina teams are bad, but standard team are still better, because you don't need to sacrifice crowd control or Shenhe to make the team work. So in the end, Furina is not upgrade for Ayaka teams, but if you don't have mono on Kokomi, she can be your savior. So what do you think about these teams? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for the watching, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.